Hey everyone, today I want to talk a little bit about the anxiously attached style and why these individuals are more prone to codependency than the average person. So, you may have seen an anxiously attached person. Maybe you are an anxiously attached person, and oftentimes you put your needs below others. You prioritize other people's desires. Maybe you go along with things even when you don't really want to do them. And when someone close to you is feeling bad, it's like you're having a bad day too. Does that sound familiar? Well, this is emblematic of the anxiously attached style. And oftentimes I get asked this question, which is, why does the anxiously attached person behave this way in their relationships? Why do they act like other people's needs are more important than theirs? And why do they roll up their sleeves every single time when somebody else needs their help, even if they have important things, projects, things to focus on, their own self-care? All of that goes out the window if somebody calls for you. And this goes back to the origins of how anxiously attached individuals developed as children. Attachment styles at its most basic level is all about those crucial bonds that you had with your primary caregivers when you were young. When we come into this earth, we are not able to take care of ourselves. This is the way that mammals work, and human beings, we're mammals. This is the way that we are born. And so we have to rely on the adults around us to take care of us. And depending on our caregivers and their response to us and how we interact with them, some of that has to do with your personality style too, and your temperament. Everybody's is different. So even if you grow up in the same household with parents who behave similarly, you may develop a different attachment style from your siblings. But if you had parents who were oftentimes overwhelmed themselves with emotions and their own problems, maybe they were inconsistent in their care for you from one day to the next, or maybe they seemed overly anxious themselves and had difficulty solving problems in their life, all of this is going to be absorbed and is going to go into the development of your own worldview. And I want to be clear, we are not blaming parents here. Most often, your parents did the very best that they could. They may be dealing with their own mental health concerns, practical problems like financial strain, and also carrying their own attachment wounds from their own childhoods. But it does say something about the fact that when we get older, we start to take these worldviews that we developed in our earlier years of life into our adult relationships and interactions, and most of all, in the way that we feel about ourselves. People who are anxiously attached tend to abide by 4 self-statements in varying degrees. And I want to read these 4 self-statements to you and see if this resonates with you or someone you know. The first self-statement is, I'm not as worthy as others. The second, I need to rescue everyone. The third, I fear being on my own. And finally, I have to analyze everything. So this is what the roots of anxious attachment can bring to a person's worldview and how they feel about themselves. And as you hear these statements, it's probably easier now to understand why somebody with anxious attachment might be more prone to codependency patterns, to trying to solve everybody else's problems before their own. It's a way for them to garner support from the people in their life. And because they don't necessarily have that self-confidence, that self-assurance that everyone will stick around just by them being them, they feel like they have to overly comply and overly be supportive so that these individuals will also support them back. But at the end of the day, anxiously attached individuals tend to have feelings of insecurity about the amount and the quality of support that they receive. They oftentimes feel like the people in their lives who they love don't love them back the same way. If they haven't heard from their loved ones in a while, they start to get insecure about whether or not that person still cares about them. And oftentimes they will do things that try to bring them back into the fold, but it can also feel burdensome to the person because they need so much more validation than the average person. The good news is if this describes you, anxiously attached individuals can heal at any age and stage of life. With just a few practical tips, I can teach you how to heal the anxiously attached style so that you can become more self-confident and assured that the people in your life are truly positive, healing people who will be there for you through thick and thin. It all starts with a more foundationally strong self-concept, which you can start building today. I will leave you with this one quick tip to start working on your self-concept. I really like this exercise because it helps to build your self-esteem on a daily basis. In your journal, write down 3 things that you appreciate about yourself today, and make this a consistent practice every single day. Write down little things if you can't think of bigger things. The challenge is just to make sure that you write down 3 things every single day, and then at the end of the week, read through these statements that you wrote about yourself and make sure that you take the time to really let it sink in and to know that you are appreciated no matter what. And even if the people in your life are not doing that for you today, you can do that for yourself. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also the bell icon so you don't miss any of my new videos. Comment on something that you enjoyed about the video or any questions that you have for me, and share this video with a family member or friend who might also find it helpful. Stay tuned for more content about attachment and self-sabotage from me.